What's up, guys? I'm SaltEMike, and this is your Star Citizen Week in Review for September 29th, 2025. With 4.3.1 out in the wild, there are already preparations for 4.3.2 going into testing. And speaking of testing, CIG is going to do it in a whole new way, and they also spent your money to watch movies at work. All that and more on today's Week in Review. And as always, if this is your first week in review, this is where I take all of the official Star Citizen news each week, put it into one video, and share some of my opinions about it. I also live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/SaltEMike, so stop by and say hi if you haven't yet. I always enjoy seeing you guys over here, but there's no sponsor this week. So if you want to support the channel, first off, you can get subscribed. That's free, costs you nothing, but you also can go above and beyond if you really want to. Hit the join button or leave a super thanks. And with all that out of the way, let's get to the patch. All right, and we'll start out on Monday. There wasn't a lot in terms of significant issues fixed, but the biggest was fixing the fact that when we had our landing gear down, the max our ship can go was 10 meters per second. It's now back up to 30 max, which is what we're used to. I don't think a lot of people like this in general, but it's better than it was. I absolutely dealt with the proximity issue that was mentioned here, and it's now fixed as well. Then Thursday, we had a message of the day. So this is important because this is letting us know that they're doing a 4.3.2 Evocati update soon. More on what that entails in the roadmap section, but as you will see, we did not get the test on Friday, so hopefully it will be on Monday. That's where they're planning on doing it right now. So never hold your breath on these type of announcements. That's all that is really meant to say there. Friday, we had another hotfix. One of the announcements was solid. They did release the hotfix mentioned, which you can see at the bottom says they dealt with some instability and more issues around overspawning AI at locations. But I can confirm it's still a bit of an issue at Pharaoh locations, at least. Other than that, the big topic of discussion with this patch, on at least in terms of how the patch is playing, is Dupree on Hurston. There's actually a ton to unpack here. It's not as simple as people are making it out to be. Number one, it has essentially become a war zone because of a bug. If you have played the game at all lately, you will probably notice not a single defensive turret in any Armistice zone shoots at anyone right now. So people who want to PvP at locations that aren't traditionally PvP spots can do so with no security intervention from the game, at least. Number two, if you have Red Wind Rep, there is a mission that pays 117k for a rookie mission for very little cargo or effort, that there are at least 5 at any given time at the Dupree location, and another one actually on the planet, making this an insane hourly. But here's the thing. This is exactly what haulers need, want, and are asking for. Multiple pickups at a single location and a drop-off, right? Those are great. It's just the fact that these effort versus reward calculations are not based in any sort of reality, right? This is not an exploit, in my opinion, at all. It's just a complete lack of attention to detail by the economy team. Or it's something else. I don't know, but it is not it's not good. Risk versus reward. That's what matters here. There is no risk with cargo missions. You don't lose anything. Maybe a little bit of rep sometimes. I don't even think that's a thing anymore. And there's nothing on your head. You put nothing into it, right? So the only reason there is risk is because of a bug right now. So I don't see much of a problem with anything that's going on at Dupree. If you guys want to fight people there, go for it. But I really think we need to, focus our energy on the right people here. It's either asking questions of the economy team. Well, are these cargo mission prices based on the fact that maintenance will be a thing for our ships in the future and things will cost more, or what? Because right now it's just money going into your account and nothing coming out when you fail, lose, whatever. So that's my problem there, is the cargo missions completely outperform, or missions in general completely outperform the sandbox experiences of the game, which I just personally believe should be a focus. So that's all I got on that. Let's move into roadmap updates. All right, and they start out like they usually do, trying to kind of tying up loose ends with the previous release, letting us know that they changed the status of the cards and had features delivered in the recent 4.3.1 release. Then we got a very small description of what the main focus of 4.3.2 will be, and that is the next chapter in the story of Pyro. And it is specifically the Fight for Pyro storyline, as we have previously seen and discussed. Expect to see the Slicers come back and Headhunters and CFP battling it out for influence over the system, right? I personally think it's time to head back to Pyro. I think we've been in Stanton a lot lately, and I'm ready and excited to see what the Evo patch brings next week. I will also say, is that it for the regen crisis? I'm confused. And then the last patch, with Bearing, we now get a Klaus and Warner laser repeater refactor, so nothing related to gameplay really, just visual, and we don't even have the visual for them yet here. Next, they're adding more Wicklow ships, 3 of which you can already buy in the game, the A2, the Ares Ion, and Inferno, so these are just upgraded and skinned. And then the Prowler utility is going to be exclusive to Wicklow as far as we can tell for now. I think that's totally fine, because it's an alien ship, kind of makes sense. And then a new armor called Heavy Battle Tech Armor. I have not a single idea of what this could mean, to be honest. I don't expect this armor to come with any new visor or features, because CIG just isn't doing features, right? So to expect it to just be kind of visual is where I'm at, and all the other stuff coming at a later date, maybe. Also, just what's with the helmets lately? Not my style at all. Let me know what you guys think about them. And then we get 2 new hairstyles, short mohawk and a Bond villain cut. And then lastly, for 4.3.2, we get 2 features that we thought we would see in 4.3 and 4.3.1. That's FPS AI turrets and mission pickup at location. Don't know if these will actually make it in time. We'll have to see. But we aren't done yet. The most important information we can have is the useless kind, I guess, and that is the progress tracker, which was updated for things like crafting, engineering, and more that are in the works, but we can't trust the timeline, so what's the point? I see people going, oh, they're already doing the thing where it's like, the lines end in December. It's like, yeah, obviously, like, what are we doing here? It's not even worth discussing people with those mentalities. Let's move on to other updates before I start getting mad. All right, and as always, we start out with the sneak peek. The ship looks like the Polaris to me, and it just looks like a new paint for it. So the next sale that is coming up is Halloween. So this might be a hint at that paint scheme. It looks black, orange, and chrome, which is obviously a decent Halloween style. Then for dev posts, pure Caranite is first, and some people thought duping was back on the menu because UEX prices for Caranite halved in a week. If you guys don't know what UEX is, it's like a website that players have made to exchange items in the game. But since it wasn't in any notes, this was our org's feeling that it was kind of just spawning more because we were seeing it more when we were running it. So the post confirms we didn't just get lucky. So I hope to see more of this at a much faster pace in the future. The player market is one of the easiest ways for them to tell that there's an issue with some of the choices that they're making around Wicklow rewards, at least. It's also kind of points out the cargo mission payout issue is people have way too much money, so prices can get very inflated on that site, right? Testing focus groups is next. This is huge. Honestly, the biggest news of the week, in my opinion, a change to the way CIG tests has been needed for years. We have a system that is awful right now. Evocati is not utilized well, and we lacked in the area they're trying to address here specifically, focus testing, right? They're going to bring people in who actively are participating in the loop that they're interested in gathering feedback on. That's the important thing here. It appears to just be feedback, where Evo and Wave 1, kind of those stages of the game, are too late for feedback. It's more like, hey, does this work or does it not work? Everything is basically locked in at that point, and there's not much time to change things, especially since they're doing a patch every month, right? So that's sort of the problem with the way they're doing things now. This should, emphasis on should, catch the most glaring issues and mistakes made by the team on the prototyping phases, which they regularly do. We call them out on this channel all the time, and my Twitch channel. It's just like, how do you not see that? Like, just talk to us. It'll be okay. Things like the flight model, engineering, crafting loops. Players who actually play the game can spot the intricacies faster than the devs can. On the flip side, there seem, and we'll touch on this in just a second, only taking players who are active based on the posts, who are very active in that loop, is going to skew the feedback in the direction of a hardcore player and miss the experience of the casual player. That's my worry here. But what casual player is also interested in this level of testing? So it's kind of a tough one there. Lastly, and most importantly, the way they're gathering feedback is different than ever before. It will be through email. So leaks will be much less, I hope. And by the way, already leaks on this test. I've seen the email of getting invited, even though I've not been invited yet. So it's like, of course. But with anything from CIG, I'm just wondering how they're going to kind of screw this up. But I think this is a good way of gathering feedback. And because that's not the last thing. Just very recently, Yogi came out and to kind of clear the air on why this is being done and how they want to do the tests and so on. And yeah, it's specifically for the flight model, which is why Yogi is mentioning about it, because the first test is there and the invites have already gone out. So number one, they look as if they want to invite a number of different types of players to the test, not just sweats or super active players. Fantastic. My fears on that are definitely suppressed, I guess. But like I said earlier, what casual player is going to do this testing for them? Nobody. The reason for this is a reaction to something that happened with the first flight model, or the more recent change to master modes. Continued, it was a big problem on Spectrum, right? People were posting elaborate feedback posts saying they didn't like the flight model. And I talked to some devs and things like that way back then, and I think it's okay to say this, I'm sure it is. They looked at those players' analytics, and they saw that they never flew any Master Modes playtests. So this was kind of to take any of this mob mentality stuff out of the feedback that absolutely is and was happening, because this continued through not just the flight model stuff. I hope it works out, and good luck to the testers as, again, the first invites have gone out. So I really hope we clear up the little annoying things that could be easily fixed now. And then the last thing that we're going to talk about is so stupid. CIG Theater Room, it's not quite an official thing, so probably not for this channel, but it's hard to avoid as it's been so controversial over the last couple days. CIG spent 3 years finishing and polishing not any aspect of the game, but a movie theater in their studio. My first thought was, how could this possibly be something that is needed to finish a video game? Jared was interviewed by a group that made the theater, and he explains they use it to do reviews and meetings and such like that, which I think is fine, I guess. Sports teams have similar setups. Other software devs have even more elaborate setups, right? It's just this weird aspect of when your project is crowdfunded, this level of over-the-top stuff is off-putting for some, because it's, feels like my money. And it's like, hey, I gave you X amount of dollars to spend it on the development of the game. How does this equal development of the game, right? There's this disconnect between the backer and the studio. The other argument is it's a studio upgrade that helps recruit talent. But I think the issue here, as far as I know, and I'm trying to be fair, is software dev in the UK isn't as a prestigious position as it is in the US. The average wage difference is almost half. And yes, I recognize this is like an AI slop comparison, so take it with a grain of salt there, but this is widely understood as well. And the argument being the UK has better benefits is the thing, but my brother is a software dev and he gets paid very well and has good benefits, right? It's, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And then the full react to this will probably end up on the TV channel, but I haven't posted it yet. So yeah, I think this is probably where I'll keep my opinion on this, as it's probably fine. I'm sure we're overreacting. It comes down to the main issue of a crowdfunded game. Spending money on things other than the game will always look weird. And with that, I will leave you guys here. Thank you so much for watching this week. I do appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe for more weeks in review, and I will catch you next week for hopefully some 4.3.2 news.